Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Crypto's News. It's me, your boy, Omar Bam, aka Crypto. I always allocate a little bit of time throughout the week, pretty much every day, to collect information that I think is going to be valuable to you guys. And I wrap it up as nicely as I can come Friday. So thank you guys for joining me here for your weekly update on what's going on in crypto today, September 19th, 2025. And I have to apologize in advance because my bird Kiwi, some of you might remember Kiwi, he's been in a few videos, sometimes on my shoulder, but he gets rambunctious. So I left him out there, and he's currently having a crazy scram session. He's been at it like almost every day, screaming at the top of his lungs for hours. And then he gets the little Chihuahua Winston mad, and then they both start barking. So just letting you know, just in case if you hear something in the back, that's what's going on over there. And I'm happy to be back with you guys. I still have a little bit of a canker sore. I know I told you guys that I had one last week and it was difficult to speak. Still there. Take a look. Look away real quick if you're like scared of this kind of thing, if it freaks you out. But it's not that bad. It's actually healing much better after regular salt rinses and all that. Check it out. Can you see it? It was like two canker sores right next to each other that just merged and became a hole in my mouth. It was just bad. It was bad. But anyway, I'm feeling much better now, thankfully. And I'm happy to be back with you guys. I hope you have been having a good week. I know it's turned better for me with the pain finally dying down somewhat. But yeah, we've gathered a lot of stuff today. We're going to be talking about what's going on with the market after the Federal Reserve finally began a new rate cutting cycle, which means crypto cycle, woohoo, heading back to zero, baby, but not when it comes to prices. You guys know what I'm talking about. And we're going to be talking about what's going on with the Genius Stablecoin Act, making headway, as well as another bit of legislation that the CEO of Coinbase is actually excited for, calling it a freight train. We're going to be talking about PayPal's new crypto products, FTX repayments, plenty more. So you're going to want to stay tuned to the end. I've collected a lot, so we're going to try to get through it rather quickly. Thank you guys for joining me as always. Thank you especially to my Patreon sponsors and my YouTube sponsors out here who make this show possible. I would be less likely to come back if you guys didn't show the love that kind of way. So thank you guys. Another way that you can show love if you want to is remember to hit that like button if you enjoy these videos, and of course subscribe if you have yet to do so, and double check that you're subscribed, because like I've noted before, people tend to get unsubscribed for some reason from my show. I don't know, I must be on a list, on some sort of like Palantir list. I think I've determined that's probably what it is. I'm on some sort of Palantir list somewhere. We'll all be someday, right? Am I right? Anyway, we'll start off with some fun stuff. So let's take a look at some of the memes, and they'll be peppered in here throughout the video. I'm a retarded crypto trader. You mean retired, right? It's home. It's home, as some others will as we go forward here. But yes, oh yeah, and this is the other one. I didn't even kiss my wife before bed last night, said Living the Truths on the Ethereum subreddit on the daily. I just looked at the daily price action and threw my phone and went to the bar. Amen. Good job. Sometimes that's the best thing to do. And that this kind of apathy, this kind of just being upset with the market, and just in general, because maybe we look at the news too much. I know I feel like I have to because of this show, but you guys don't have to. It's nice to touch grass every once in a while. I even saw some tutorial videos on YouTube about how to touch grass if you're still not sure how to do that. But yeah, it could definitely get to folks what's going on. So yeah, we've pretty much reversed the gains that we had earlier in the week when the Federal Reserve actually caused prices to go up by announcing the rate cut. There was this big belief that it would be perhaps a sell the news thing that was factored into the price. And maybe it is factored into the price, which is why we reversed after the announcement when we got a little bit of a bump earlier in the week. And now we've pretty much sold that off as we finish up the last 7 days, pretty much reversing. We have Bitcoin down 1.1% over the last 24 hours at $115,631, down 0.3% or flat on the last week. Ethereum actually down a bit over the last week, 4% down 2.8% on the day, back to $4,468.58. Woohoo! I love this roller coaster, up and down. Oh man, yeah, it's got to be one of those wooden roller coasters because we actually don't like spin. You guys, we don't have any loops. You know what I'm talking about. XRP down 2.8% to about $3. It's yeah, one of the bigger losers, I guess you could say, in the top 10, alongside Solana. There's been a lot of hype around ETFs coming out, reversing some of that and some of those gains. And yeah, for the most part, down, but not to Diamond Town. I'm thinking of Minecraft. Not down to Goblin Town. That's what we say in crypto, in the crypto street. And market caps, $4.128 trillion, down 1.7%. Hey, I remember when we hit $1 trillion for the first time. That was wild. Now we sold off in short order. And then we were stuck at like $3 trillion forever. So I'm not too mad at $4 trillion. Because the printer is coming, right? I thought it was winter. No, the printer is coming. It has, in fact, started already. Still expecting from some members on the Federal Reserve Board up to 3 rate hikes, including the last one that we got before the end of the year. And that is actually being pushed forward heavily by a new member, a Steve something or other, who was a member of the Trump administration, is now on the board of the Federal Reserve of Governors to try to push that money printer ever hotter, as Trump has been demanding. He was actually the only dissenting vote that wanted a 50 basis point hike rather than a 25 basis point hike that we just got. But yeah, I mean, he's on leave from the Trump administration right now, paid leave, unpaid leave. I don't know what's going on here, but it's all about this bringing up this question of Fed independence, whatever the heck that means. Like, they don't meet at Bilderberg and they don't meet at all these various conferences around the year and at private dinners and have private phone calls we're not even privy to. God forbid we were privy. Those messages and phone records might be deleted, like what happened to Gary Gensler that we discussed last time. Anyway, yes, another meme. My friends versus me. Graduated. I guess I got that one down at least. Married. I'm on the way. Homeowner. Yeah, the average age of a homeowner has gone from 26 back, I believe, around the year 2000, or was it 1980, to the average age for a homeowner now being 38. So I'm not a homeowner, believe it or not. I'm one of those renters. But I just keep watching these videos about the real estate market and the kind of trouble it's having because of generational turnings, right? Like the fourth turning Neil Strauss talks about, boomers trying to sell their homes and the Generation Xers at exorbitant prices that millennials like myself and Generation X cannot afford. So prices for homes just pretty much being forced to come down. You're seeing it happen in Texas, happening in Florida. Yeah, wild times for that real estate market. Really interesting to watch anyway. And business owners. Yeah, I guess you could call me a business owner running this business somewhat. And but really it's just me with my 0.01 Bitcoin out here. Feeling like a king. Yeah. I know something you guys don't, it feels like. Anyway, there's Winston knocking on the door. Should I let him in? Maybe I should let him in. Nah, let's just finish this video. Okay, technical factors suggest reason for optimism, writes here TradingView. So they're actually noting here that despite this pullback that we just got in the Bitcoin price, we have actually been making higher lows all month. That means that we are setting ourselves up for a bullish pennant at the conclusion of this that would actually points to a Bitcoin price that breaches any possible sell walls or any sort of resistance that has been here. These higher lows are one of the most bullish things that I like to look at to really follow the trend. The trend is your friend, as they say. They also say don't fight the Fed, and that's why we're possibly in a crypto cycle here with interest rates coming down and risk assets again having appetite. Hey, what's going on? Corey Stupid iPhone. I think Corey Stupid iPhone was, and correct me if I'm wrong, Corey Stupid iPhone, you were like the first person that had ever commented on one of my videos back in the day when I started putting out videos, and you were rightfully calling me out on things, and you were, yeah, I don't know, you were around, and you've been around. And I actually called Corey Stupid iPhone my first troll at the very least, but I'm happy to say you have not remained a troll really to me. Definitely a loved member of the community. Always happy to have you around. Hey, Mr. Meaner, also happy to have you as well. And Josh, I'm glad you're going to be here till the end of the video, man. Plenty more coming up here. And Peter, also good to see you live. Thanks to you guys watching this later on who couldn't make it to the live. Love to see you, but if you can't make it, just helps a lot if you watch it when you can on your own time. It's important to stay aware, at least in crypto. It's a lot. It's a lot of noise, right? In the past, we never had phones, these artificial phones showing us media from places that and people that we do not care about or wouldn't know that information anyway. We had like no local newspapers and books. Some people actually read books for information. But now there's just so much information that it's good to kind of just pigeonhole yourself in some ways into the one thing, crypto, baby. Or in my case, martial arts, crypto, music. Yeah. What are you guys into? What do you guys like to do? I know we have such a diverse community besides crypto. I'd love to hear about the hobbies. Anyway, Coinbase CEO says the next major crypto bill is a freight train. So he was talking about the Digital Asset Market Clarity Act that is being passed after his time in Washington, D.C. this week. So at first I read freight train and I thought, oh no, it's going to be bad, right? I'm If there were zero regulations in crypto, I'd frankly be happier. And I was actually around back when that was the case, but it is not likely to be the case for long, and it hasn't been the case for a while, depending where you look and what sectors of the industry you're looking at. But anyway, I thought it was interesting. After his meeting over the last few days, he said, "This is how we ensure the crypto industry can be built here in America, driving innovation and protecting consumers and making sure we never have another Gary Gensler, the old head of the SEC, trying to take your rights. The Senate is strongly supportive of getting this done. Members I met on both sides, so it's bipartisan, of the aisle are ready to get this legislation passed." So I think Armstrong has, for the most part, been a good beneficiary of the industry and a good example of how to operate a company when it comes to security, when really caring about your customers, like that hack where they actually had an Indian call center they were working with that was selling off tens of thousands, like 10,000 plus customer account data, and they did not cede to the ransom demands, and in fact paid back users who were culpable or victims of this particular situation. But yeah, I mean, seeing him on board gives me a little bit more excitement here. What else? So this bill also potentially has the ability to stop the banning of stablecoins, something that so many people in the community like to utilize, and people outside of it are even waking up to it as well, as you'll see with the PayPal news coming up here. So yeah, several banking groups warned that yield-bearing stablecoins could threaten the traditional banking model. So not too much of a surprise why they wouldn't want to see stablecoins around at all. So this would outlaw them being able to outlaw stablecoins. Also, it looks like the Bitcoin reserve bill is still in play here. We had people like Michael Saylor, 18 Bitcoin leaders, it says here on Cointelegraph.com, talking to Congress on Monday about how they can move forward with this act for a strategic Bitcoin reserve bill. That means the U.S. would hold a bunch of Bitcoin on reserve and possibly just put further demand in the market, not sell for a period of time at the very least, if ever, right? Just put it on your asset side, right? Just keep it on the asset side. Bitcoin's going to grow. I think that's a big belief from folks, especially you guys who've been around for a while. It's going to grow over time. It's better than the dollar. Definitely not a liability, as it's been forced to be put by financial institutions because of just how cumbersome regulations have been and secret memos have been from this Operation Chokehold 2.0. The banks trying to keep theirs while keeping people down. That seems to finally be going away at the very least. So good news in that angle. And yeah, they're pitching ideas as to how the Cynthia Loomis-sponsored Bitcoin Act can be passed and see the U.S. government acquire 1 million Bitcoin over the next 5 years through budget-neutral strategies. So talking about different ways to make this happen. So that conversation is not over just yet. Also, we're hearing about the new upgrade that's set to go live for Ethereum on December 3rd, 2025. We're going to have the first testnet fork happening on October 1st. And then there's going to be the Sepolia fork on that testnet and the Hoodie fork on October 28th. Early November, mainnet clients are going to be getting it. And December 3rd, Fusaka mainnet activation. So it has a lot of stuff in here. 11 Ethereum improvement proposals. As you can see, PeerDAS, ETH69, set upper bounds for mod at EXP, transaction gas limit cap, mod EXP gas cost, a lot of stuff. And some of that can be explained on this article here on TradingView. Winston's losing it there at the door. Okay, if anybody wants me to open the door, I'll open it, but you have to say it in the chat. If not, I'm going to continue the video. Anyway, if it's bothering you, that is. Hey, Bit64, good to see you. So, you've seen a book before, Mr. Meaner? Dang, son. Yeah, I'm actually reading right now, rereading for like the 4th time. I last read it when I was in middle school. Sphere. I used to love that book by Michael Crichton, the author of Jurassic Park, Prey, so many good books, science fiction writer. Man, Sphere is such a good book. They don't make them like that anymore. Bless his heart and his grave, I guess you could say. We lost one of the good ones with Michael Crichton. Anyway, so some of this is outlined in this post here on TradingView. It talks in more detail and quite a lot of detail about this upgrade that's going to be coming up. I'll just share a little bit of it. The main thing is going to be prioritizing back-end protocol improvements over user-facing features. So you're not going to see anything that looks very different when you open up Coinbase or your wallets so much. But if you're running a node, it will be important for you. It's going to make Ethereum faster. It's going to be less resource intensive. It's going to allow for you to use less hard drive space. It's going to also reduce your bandwidth. So I think that's going to be really beneficial for validators in particular and validator nodes. So I'm just going to share that the title of this is Ethereum Fusaka upgrade set for December 3rd mainnet launch, blob capacity to double. You can look that up for yourself if you want to read more about it, but I don't have much more time and I'll have plenty more to get through. So let's go ahead and move forward here. I like this post here on the Ethereum subreddit. Also on the daily, where Numerous Ruin wrote 4 hours ago, I just pulled this up, Ethereum's current market cap is roughly 3 times Bitcoin's market cap from 5 years ago. So what if, I love this, like let's just do some conjecture, right? Rather than talk about the MEVNSXTV divided by whatever indicator that whatever trader is looking at right now. Anyway, yeah, so anyway, Ethereum's current market cap is roughly 3 times Bitcoin's market cap from 5 years ago. So what if by 2030, Ethereum's market cap, that's what it is right now anyway, grows to 3 times Bitcoin's current market cap? So from here, right, assuming supply inflation stays on track, Ethereum's total supply would be about 125.5 million ETH by then. So doing the math, that equals about $55,000 per coin by 2030 if these assumptions hold true. So let's stand fast, guys. Let's hodl diamond hands for 5 more years and let's aim for the moon, right? And hope we get as close as we can. Anyway, transactions on the Ethereum network monthly continue to grow. So yes, the network adoption has never been higher. Not too much of a surprise with the amount of products that are constantly built and tested on it. And also 2.4, I saw this 9 days ago, almost $2.4 billion worth of gold has been tokenized on Ethereum, with supply up by approximately 2 times since the start of the year. So tokenizing everything, right? That's something that's possible on Ethereum and being explored. Gold was one of the early use cases for tokenizing everything that I really enjoyed looking at. Some of you remember some of those old coins we used to look at. So yeah, it just talks about this this huge amount of gold that's being tokenized on Ethereum, which I think is valuable information as we try to tokenize ETFs, we try to tokenize gold, everything else for ease of use, for transparency, for portability. So much that we value cryptocurrency for, right? And blockchains for, and these decentralized ledgers. Anyway, PayPal ushers in a new era of peer-to-peer payments with crypto integration. So wow, we're gonna be able to do more than buy and just sell. And yeah, PayPal has launched, it says here on this press release, a revolutionary peer-to-peer payment feature called PayPal Links that transforms how users send and receive money globally. This new feature allows users to generate personalized one-time payment links tied to specified amounts that can be shared instantly via text, email, or any messaging platform. And unlike the previous PayPal Me feature, which offered static profile links, PayPal Links streamlines payments by eliminating the need for recipients to verify profiles before receiving funds. These links expire after 10 days, enhancing security and convenience for one-time transactions. What's interesting here is that it supports imminently all kinds of cryptocurrencies within the peer-to-peer payment flow. Users will be able to, in the US, send Bitcoin, Ethereum, Pi USD stablecoin, and other digital assets directly through PayPal Links to PayPal, Venmo, and other crypto-compatible wallets. So even outside of their ecosystem directly. And I think this is interesting. Importantly, personal crypto transfers using PayPal and Venmo will remain exempt from IRS 1099-K tax reporting requirements, at least for now, pending regulation, preserving user privacy for family and gift-related transactions. Actually, that's really cool stuff. Like to see that. Good job on that move, PayPal. I want to congratulate them. I like to see products like that. Anyway, Monero is not having a great month. Just had a reorganization after 18 blocks in 36 minutes. That's pretty huge. So it got Monero'd back, wrote typo ERRPR. We do know that there has been an attack on the network. Someone has been directing. There's an entity that has their own product and their own token that is related to AI. We've talked about them. I don't even remember their name at this point. And they have been doing it really as just like a stunt, a PR stunt. And it's likely them that have caused this reorg that takes away trust from the Monero network, one of the leading privacy networks. And it's not a surprise to me Monero is being attacked. Again, that's why network security costs are important, to have them high enough that it's not trivial to just attack a network like this by redistributing your hash power. Let him in, and Kiwi too. Kiwi's all the way in a cage out there, and he is. I'm gonna let Winston. Actually, no, I can't, because Ellie's gonna get back soon. That's why I got to wrap up this video, because then there's gonna be a real screaming session. So better that I don't. Although Wallace is probably gonna start screaming. Can you guys see Wallace? Hey, Wallace. He just had dental surgery this week. He had to go down under general anesthesia. I actually like prayed and I was like crying. My son is going under general anesthesia, but he was fine. He recovered so nicely. What a trooper. Good man. I think he's 9 years old now. Can you guys believe it? Remember when I got him? Damn. Feels like no time ago. I got him while I had the show running back in 2017 when I first moved to Hollywood after moving from Miami where I started the show. Anyway, still doing good. Okay, so Audacity of Hopium wrote, sorry I'm a noob. What does all this mean? A reorg? Did people lose Monero when the transactions were invalidated? Or did some get their XMR back, their Monero tokens? And how did this affect any transactions involving the XMR token itself? So many questions. And Gentleman Huddle responded yes. And inversely, if you sent some XMR for something else and got something else, then you would end up with whatever you exchanged for and then your XMR back. So some people got really lucky and some people got messed up. So like there used to be a lot of different nootropic websites and websites that accept Monero or accept different cryptocurrencies. And if you had ordered something and paid in Monero, you might have gotten that product and your Monero back. And that's just one example of how these kinds of reorgs are problematic. So usually these kinds of platforms will wait for a certain number of blocks before confirming the transaction. And that's one of the problems with this attack. It doesn't immediately destroy Monero. Monero recovers and surely will recover. In a way, it's actually bound the community together even more. The issue is that now it forces longer block confirmation times and makes it more difficult to use for payments if you even decide to use Monero while it's going under this kind of turbulent time. So yeah, I just wanted to give you a heads up on that. Also, FTX is going to be repaying creditors. Again, the third repayment, $1.6 billion starting on September 30th. So that's in 11 days. You might think that that's going to be problematic for the market. Wow, people are going to be getting back crypto and selling it. I doubt most of them will sell it. Some of them may, right? But I think these are kind of bullish times, especially if we start lowering rates. And $1.6 billion is really not very much. So I don't think it really will materially impact the market very much. But I think great for people who lost some funds in FTX. They believe Sam Bankman-Fried, who's sitting in prison, hopefully will for a while, because I think never really apologized sincerely to his victims. Instead, he pled no guilty and acted like everything was fine. And it's not right. It's not right, my friends. Anyway, funds are going to be routed through service providers like BitGo, Kraken, Payoneer, expected to land in accounts within 3 business days of September 30th, pending verification steps on the FTX portal. Be very careful that you're on the right portal if you're doing one of these claims. You probably know what it is if you've already received some of this. But yeah, there's so many scams out there. Don't click the first thing on Google without verifying. It might be a sponsored scam website that looks just like the real thing. U.S. customers will receive 40% in the latest round, bringing their total recovery so far to 95%. Real big win for customers here. So they only lost 5%. Really, really good stuff. Although, if I recall correctly, these are done in value at the time. So it's not based on current prices. Although I could be completely wrong. I haven't been following the redistribution as closely recently as I did back in the day. Anyway, stocks sell off as Bank of Japan unveils plans to unwind $250 billion of ETF, something else that potentially could be a more bearish signal for the market. So Japan has announced that they're going to be selling off ETFs. They've been accruing ETFs, many various ETFs over the last 13 years as part of a stimulus plan that they had. And now it's going to take them about a century or 100 years to offload these ETFs, this $250 billion cache of exchange traded funds. There's a lot of political issues that are going on in Japan. And things are definitely changing, being forced to change. Yeah, money printing, right? It's just silly to me. They're going to be taking these dollars and doing what? Servicing debt for the most part. Just like what's going on here in the United States. More and more money going to service the debt, taking away from actual utility, borrowing from the future. And the time to come has come to pay back. And yeah, that's definitely weighing on the macro situation for the most part. I just thought this was of note. Also, Grayscale debuting first multi-asset crypto ETF on the NYSE ARCA. So this is going to be an ETF that tracks 5 different cryptocurrencies that hold over 90% of the total cryptocurrency market cap. It includes Bitcoin, Ether, XRP, Solana, and Cardano. they announced on their press release today, Grayscale. So yeah, it's going to be trading. I think that's pretty cool. It's going to be the first exchange traded product that holds more than 2 digital assets. So I'm sure there will be quite a bit of demand there. And maybe even included through options through employers in the future, because we've seen how regulations are beginning to change on that front because of an executive order issued by the Trump administration. And we'll finish with this here. This dude sold his life savings into Bitcoin 12 years ago and then disappeared into the void. This was posted 5 days ago on the cryptocurrency subreddit. So yes, VZ88FJJ wrote 12 years ago, I put all my life savings into Bitcoin last week. I put all my life savings into Bitcoin. I'm only 30, so I know while it is a risk, I still have a chance to recover if it crashes, and I have a full-time job anyway. I just thought how the people around me are putting money into their houses, into children and expensive weddings, and they will never get a return on that. It just disappears. I also thought how most people will go their whole life and not take a risk and go for it. And when I'm older, I will not be able to do things like this. I will be a lot more conservative. Now is the time for me to take a risk. So I put a total of about 50,000 USD in. Dang, son. And bought in. I don't know how long I'll keep it in, but I'm thinking at least 5 to 10 years, maybe longer. I haven't told anyone. I don't plan to, but I feel good about it. Another thing I think about is that there will only be 21 million Bitcoins ever released, and that is nothing when I stop and think about it. Amen. To me, it seems like a great opportunity. So forward-thinking guy here. So he's got about $41 million in returns, assuming he sold none. He probably did. This market loves to throw those gut punches really hard. Ugh. But we kind of weather these storms. I know I've been through a lot through the years, and I've built my own resilience and tolerance in many different ways. We all do. Right? Like I remember my first breakup just being like wrecked for like 2 years. And then subsequently each one got better. And now I have a lovely partner that I hopefully will never have to go through that with. But I just know that we build resilience, right? And this is the same thing with crypto. So hodl strong, my friends, if that's what you're doing. Not financial advice, I have to say that. And here's our quote of the day by Rumi. Everything that is made beautiful and fair and lovely is made for the eye of one who sees. Yeah. Love that. Anyway, thank you guys so much for joining me today. I hope you have a fantastic weekend and a beautiful one at that. Make sure to notice the beautiful things. Take care, much love, and stay cryptic. Peace.